Hi guys, Olive here. Here today to talk to you about what's on my June 2023 TBR. Let's start with fiction first. I'm actually planning on having a very fiction-forward month. We are very quickly approaching the halfway point of 2023. Hard to believe, but it is almost here. And so I kind of want to take this opportunity to refocus on one of my unofficial goals for the year of trying to read more novels off of my shelves, trying to clear off some shelf space. So the majority of novels that I want to read in June are ones that I already own. First up is The House at the Edge of Night by Catherine Banner. This is one of the books that I decided to keep around during my big Trash My Bookshelves project that I did a couple of years back. In case you missed that, if you weren't around here on my channel when I was doing that, I will link the playlist of videos that I did for it in the description box and up in the cards. It was a very fun time here on my channel, but I read the initial chapters of this book during a Try a Chapter tag to try to figure out if I wanted to keep this as part of my collection, and I really enjoyed those initial chapters. This is a multi-generational family saga set on a fictional island off of the coast of Italy, and I recall those initial chapters feeling very summery, so this felt like the right time to go back and finish this. Next up is Happily and Madly by Alexis Bass. This is YA. The main character of this novel has been told two things about her fate. She's been told that she is destined to fall deeply in love, but also that she could be dead before her 18th birthday. And this novel is set during the summer before that fateful birthday. I have owned this one for quite some time. I don't read a lot of YA, but when I do, it tends to be during the summer. I've been saving this one specifically for the summertime, so I'm just going to go ahead and read it now. The third book on this June TBR is also one I've been saving for this summer. It's called The Fair Botanist by Sarah Sheridan. This book is set in 19th century Scotland and stars two women who both have an interest in botany. Ever since I fell head over heels in love with The Signature of All Things by Elizabeth Gilbert, I have been pining for a book that makes me feel the same way that book did, and I'm really hoping this book does that. In June, I am also hoping to read Wild Abandon by Emily Biddle. This book is about an Australian man who moves to Middle America where he befriends a Vietnam vet who collects exotic animals. I bought this book in the first place because this author wrote another novel called The Strays. I read that back in 2017, and I have not been able to get it out of my mind ever since. This is the only other novel that she's written, at least thus far, so I've been really pumped to read this. I'm excited to see if I will like it as much as I loved The Strays. The next book I'm planning on reading in June is going to be my Storygraph recommendation for the month, just in case you're new around here, if you haven't seen any of my TBRs for 2023 so far. This year, I have been taking recommendations that the Storygraph app gives to me because I have a Plus membership with them. I put in a bunch of buzzwords, things that I like in books, and I'm seeing what they recommend to me. I'm kind of testing to see how good their recommendations are, seeing if they're any better at picking works of fiction for me than I am at picking them for myself, because I tend to be kind of bad at it. But the recommendation of theirs that I will be reading this month is All the Horses of Iceland by Sarah Tolmie. This is actually a novella, as you can see, and it seems to blend historical fiction and mythology. We follow a Norse trader as he travels from Iceland to Mongolia and then back again. And I think that's the reason the Storygraph recommended this one to me. I just seem to adore anything that has anything to do with Mongolia, so I'm pretty sure that's why the algorithm put this one in front of me. I did a little bit of reading about it before choosing to read it during June. I did hear that it is kind of light on plot, which I don't normally love. But then again, When I'm Gone, Look for Me in the East by Quan Barry, another book very light on plot, also set in Mongolia, is one that I absolutely loved. So I still think this one has promise. I did put one novel on my June TBR that I don't own, and that's just because I was feeling the pull to read it, I guess. It's called Heartburn by Nora Ephron. This is a semi-autobiographical novel written by the creator of the classic rom-com Sleepless in Seattle. It's about a woman who finds out that her husband has been cheating on her. And from the reviews I read, this one is also a little bit lacking in plot, but apparently the author gets away with it because this book is so funny. I've been really craving something like Bridget Jones's Diary, but then again, I have also spent the past few months being completely caught up in the Vanderpump Rules cheating scandal. So this one seemed like the right choice for both what I want, but then where I'm at mentally. Then the final novel that I'll be reading in June won't come as any surprise to you if you've been watching my channel for a while, Every single June, I reread my all-time favorite novel, my all-time favorite book, Rules of Civility by Amor Towles. This will be my 9th time reading this book, and if you can believe it, I'm not even close to being tired of it. I am someone who really enjoys novelty, but there's something about this book that a different part of it speaks to me every single year. It has something new to offer me every single year. And then it's also a comfort read to me because I know this book so well. It feels like it's in my pores. I was already really looking forward to June rolling around again so that I could reread this book. I always really look forward to it. But then just a few days ago, Amor Towles himself sent me a DM on Instagram thanking me for showing this book so much love here on YouTube, which was incredible, if very surreal. So the reread I'm doing this year means more to me than ever. But since this is the month that I always pick up Rules of Civility, it also seemed like the best month to read Unfinished Business by Vivian Gornick. This is one of the 23 nonfiction books that I intended to read in 2023. Made a whole video about that. But this is a collection of essays that celebrate rereading. And since that is a topic, a concept that I will have on the brain as I'm doing my annual reread, I'll probably read this one around the same time that I am rereading Rules of Civility. My other June pick from that list of 23 priority nonfiction books is going to be The Gulf by Jack E. Davis. This is a history of North America's Gulf Coast from the Pleistocene era all the way up until the modern day. This book actually won the Pulitzer for history back in 2018. I loved his most recent book, which was all about the bald eagle. Really recommend that in case you're interested. I feel like it's almost guaranteed that I'm going to enjoy this. And then the final nonfiction book that I want to read in June is one that I've had my eye on for years. I just haven't read it yet because other books have been distracting me. But that book is called How to Tame a Fox and Build a Dog by Lee Allen Dugotkin and Ludmila Trutt. This book tells the story of an experiment that began in Siberia back in 1959. Scientists wanted to see if they could speed up the process of evolution by using selective breeding. They wanted to recreate what might have happened naturally when wolves transformed into dogs, but they used foxes. And apparently their results were astonishing. I cannot wait to read this. But now that I've told you about all the books that I planned out to read during the month of June, the only thing left to do is to pick my random book off of my TBR for the month. This is something I used to do a very long time ago here on my channel, but I brought it back because I really missed doing it. I like having that one random book on my TBR every month. And how I pick it is I go to my to-read shelf on Goodreads. I sort all of those books. It's a lot of them. I sort them by number, and then I use a random number generator to help me select 3 options. Those need to be options that I could realistically read. They can't be future releases. They can't be out of print books. I need to actually be able to read those books. And then of those 3 options, I pick one of them to read during the month. I've got my laptop here to help me find my 3 different options, and option number 1 is Ottoman Odyssey, Travels Through a Lost Empire by Alev Scott. Option number 2 is Gabriella, Clove and Cinnamon by George A. Amato. And option number 3 is The Wicked Cometh by Laura Carlin. Looking at my 3 options here, really solid selections, but I know already that option number 3, a gothic novel like The Wicked Cometh, just isn't the type of book that I like to read during this time of year. If this were my October TBR, I would probably pick that one, but this is June. So option number 3 is out. But the other 2, I feel so torn. I would be happy to read either of these this month. But I've decided to just go with my gut because when Gabriella, Clove and Cinnamon popped up as one of my options, I just broke out into a grin. It just felt like something I really, really want to read. So I'm going to go with that one. Well, now that I've picked that random book, that is officially it for my June TBR. If you have thoughts on any of the books I spoke about today, I would love to hear from you in the comment section below. Links to all of the books that I mentioned, as well as any other links I might have promised you, will be in the description box below. They are all there for your clicking convenience. And at the bottom of that exact same description box, you will also see links to everywhere you can find me around the internets, like Goodreads, Instagram, the Storygraph, all the places I'm the most active, just in case you want to keep up with what I am reading and writing about right now. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I will see you in the next video. Bye.